Hello. I'm streaming from the Pocket Free today, so it'll be a slightly better picture quality. I don't know if YouTube will share it as well though, because that's the problem. Is if I'm not doing it via their app with the vertical phone thing, they don't always share the streams as well. So hopefully they share this and everything. Because like I said, I'd rather do the streams in widescreen mode rather than vertical, but the option for me to do the dual streams doesn't show up yet. Also, before I forget, the reason I'm not using my phone for it is I'm gluing a lanyard attachment thing onto my phone. And because the glue is still not completely dry, I can't stand my phone up to use my phone vertically, if that makes sense. So I'm just sort of, letting the glue on the phone dry at its own rate. Yeah, Happy New Year to you. I think that was yesterday, wasn't it? But yeah, Happy New Year. So I've got my Swiss helmet on again today, but I've got the civil defense one I was on about yesterday on, the bright yellow one. So this one doesn't give you ballistic protection. It's made of aluminium, not steel. So it's lighter weight, but this one does have the chin strap. That's still on this one. So it does fit me obviously a bit better because of the chin strap. But yeah, it's basically the exact same liner in it as the other one, but like I said, this one's got the chin strap. The chin strap is literally just a thing that hooks onto that side with a little hook. It's quite a simple chin strap. So yeah, this one's the steel one that would actually protect you from stuff. This one is the cool. Yeah, I've got a couple of old commie era flashlights, but they were ones that were included in Geiger counter kits, stock of the oil lantern, sorry. So ones that have the they're like a rectangle that has a pocket clip, and I can't remember what type of battery they use. You can still get them to work, but they're not a modern type of battery. And you basically put them in your pocket using the pocket clip, and then it's like a rectangle sort of thing like that. The steel one I can't pair with a mask at the moment. Well, like I said, because I got this one on my head, but I was going to say because it's not got the chin strap. But I did pair it with a mask yesterday. Yeah, they're both Swiss. It's just this is the Swiss civil defense one. So aluminium, not steel, and bright yellow because it's civil defense. I'll put a mask on in a bit, but the only problem is I can't read the comments properly when I have a mask on. Right, I'm just going to tuck the cable that this is attached to around the back of my water bottle so it hopefully doesn't get knocked and then the stream cuts out because the cable gets knocked. At least maybe with all the bloody lights on in here for the stream, it might mean that the glue dries a bit faster on my phone, the bit I'm gluing. Because like I said, that's the annoying thing, is just waiting for the glue to dry. Yeah, cool. So you got an oil lamp like your name. If I search Soviet pocket flashlight, let's see if it's the sort of thing you're all about. Yeah, it is a Soviet pocket flashlight. The one I've got, technically called a signaling flashlight, apparently, is like the proper name for them. But the one I've got, technically, I think is a Polish communist one rather than the Soviet one, but they're probably almost identical. But it came, I think, in my Polish DP. Oh, what was the name of it? I think it's DP, but it's the old Polish ionization chamber detector, like the Polish equivalent of the DP2. But I can't remember. I'm just going to search Communist Poland pocket flashlight. Yeah, again, I think it's like kind of the same generation of a version as a Soviet antique one, so it probably is like the exact same communist pattern. In the UK, minus where I am a couple of degrees outside. 4.5 volt radio battery. That's cool. So yeah, you can still get them. I mean, you can also probably adapt other batteries to fit it. Right, Rajiv? So yeah, got the Swiss helmet on. So again, like I said, the Vadery looking one, but this is the civil defense yellow one. Okay, so yeah, the what was I going to say about this thing? That yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the hobo with a shotgun one, because it's got the rivets there, and I'm pretty sure the one they've got in the film is probably this one just painted black, not the military one. Yeah, so minus a couple of Celsius in here. We get 30 odd Celsius in the summer quite frequently in the UK now because of global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. So most summers now in the UK, in my area, are 25C to 30 something C. So yeah, pretty similar temperatures when we get the really hot days in our summer. But yeah, in the winter here now, minus a couple of Celsius. If you go up north to Scotland, you might get places of minus 10 C and whatever, but it never gets as cold in the UK as like Norway and Finland, because we are, even though you kind of can't see us with a lot of maps, the maps where you actually get the north gradient right on them, you'll notice that the UK is actually kind of a bit further south than like the Scandinavian and like Nordic countries. It is kind of more like a diagonal angle, but a lot of maps seem to just put it parallel with them. And the Gulf Stream means the UK doesn't get as cold as well, with like how the hot air moves around and like the, you know, tidal patterns or whatever. So yeah, hello to everybody. Hope you're all doing all right. So yeah, like I said, quite like this Swedish helmet, not Swedish, Swiss helmet. But again, I really like bright yellow civil defense things like these and the old CDV 700s the US had and that, because it is like, again, this is the US CDV color. It's slightly different, but it's a very, very similar shade of yellow. So not quite identical, but still very, very similar, as you can see. So yeah, nearly the same yellow as the American ones, but it isn't quite if you line them up next to each other and the sort of quite natural lighting. This one I think is a bit of a brighter yellow. I think the US ones are a slightly darker yellow. Yeah, hopefully you're all right there, Olaf, then, if it's getting that cold. But yeah, like I said, generally the thing is in the UK is the temperatures are pretty easy to deal with, but obviously we have the problem that in the summer nowhere is really designed for hot summers in here. So it's like our house is built to keep the heat in, not let heat out. So, you know, I actually bought an air conditioning unit because it's getting to the point now, yeah, where you really do want air conditioning, whereas, you know, lots of people previously never needed it. No, civil defense, Jim, is like rescue kind of people. So more like a fire service, but not a fire service. I'm going to do an updated video on that City Prepper because I've got some better panels for it. I bought, because they were cheap, the panels from, I think it was a female police officer's vest. You know, like the replacement panels for that. And because it's designed for like women with breasts, obviously, the panel layout is different. So it's like more smaller panels than you know, like two big panels, so it would be better for putting in that bag. But yeah, I'll do an updated video on that. Yeah, well, again, it's because, as Raju was saying the other day, Darth Vader's helmet is based off of a samurai helmet, and the Stahlhelm with the big sort of bits on the side looks like a sort of samurai helmet. But yeah, Swiss M1918 or Swiss M18 helmet this type, and like I said, this is just the civil defense aluminium version. But yeah, they're cool because if you like, they're like German World War One helmets, but they're a lot cheaper because people don't buy them as much for the collectability. But yeah, so with the civil defense, it was like basically, you know, like rescuing people from collapsed buildings, probably like flood rescue, avalanche rescue, that stuff. And obviously in the Cold War, a lot of it was, you know, like radiation, you know, like if there had been a blast, pulling people out of the buildings while measuring the radiation, that kind of like civil defense. But yeah, it's more like it's a bright color so you can see somebody in an emergency. And like I said, it only needed to be aluminium, this one, because it's just to protect your head from falling debris in, like, you know, a building collapsing. This isn't like the combat version. Yeah, sadly, I only have a few helmets. I have done a quick review. Again, it won't go live for about a week and a half because that's how ahead I am on videos. Oh, and don't forget to like the stream, everybody, by the way, please. But I have done a quick, like, you know, short review of the Swiss M18 helmet and the civil defense one. So I will, like I'm doing with the gas masks, do some quick reviews of the helmets I've already done longer videos on, because the shorts seem quite a good format for doing that. I think what I'm probably going to try and do going forwards, you know, when I get everything organized as I want to organize it, probably do one quite long video per week in landscape, like a proper video, as I'd call it. And then the rest of the videos will be shorts and streams. So, for example, although at the moment I've only got shorts lined up, if I film like a 10-minute landscape video, I might just rejiggle the dates of some videos to sort of line it up more like that. Why'd you say your feet are smelly, Rajiv? Who are you talking to? Yeah, we were on about that in yesterday's stream forging for the Saddam Fadayin helmets or Fadakeen helmets, whatever they are. But yeah, the Saddam ones are made from fucking like some sort of plastic. So even though they were apparently Saddam's most elite and loyal troops, they were even less protective than this aluminium one because they were literally made from a plastic. Yeah, in the UK, as much as our laws are bad on lots of things, no restrictions on body armor whatsoever. The only restrictions you get are sometimes like buying stuff that's still in military service, like, you know, in case it's not technically meant to be sold, you know, like stolen goods kind of thing. But in terms of helmets, body armor, stab vests, you know, ballistic vests, you know, rifle plates, no restrictions whatsoever. Oh, I see what, yeah, like the Vader bits. It always reminds me of the Dead Ringers sketch where they did that in the thing, and it's your breadsticks a week old man or your bread products a week old man, whatever it is, where they're fighting with baguettes in the car park. Yeah, I need to do a video with my actual night vision mounted on the Virtus because, like I said, that is the helmet I'll put my night vision on when I actually use it. Yeah, bump helmets are very good for obviously just protecting your head. I've got a bump cap over there. And again, the thing I like with bump caps is they're not particularly high profile, are they? So if you're out and about, it looks like a slightly bulkier cap, but it, you know, might protect you from somebody trying to hit you over the head with a bottle or something. But yeah, so like I was saying, the Virtus helmet is currently my favorite helmet if I actually had to use one for anything. But this is, again, I think just a pretty cool helmet in terms of I like the look of it. You know, it's just silly and everything, but I don't know, Olaf. Like I said, I suppose I could do videos. The only problem with like a lot of airsoft stuff and that, I've not actually bought any Chinese bump helmets, but if they're built to proper standards, I wouldn't see any issues with them. Jim, as in, you know, breaking. But going back to Olaf, like I said, the only problem at the moment is YouTube even now gets sometimes funny about airsoft guns and that. And I know channels like Squire have had issues now with YouTube where like they can't even do some of their parody videos on YouTube anymore because stuff getting funny about it. But yeah, other than some East German stuff, I don't really have that many full kind of like combat loadouts for. PVS 14 aren't cheap night vision analogs. PVS 14 are like the top of the range, well, not quite top of the range analog night visions. My cheapest analog night vision would be technically the Soviet PNV 57A, because that is a Gen 0 analog. It's the ones for the tank crewmen. Yeah, I'd have to think of a way of doing it, Jim, where YouTube wouldn't throw a shit fit over it. That's the only thing. Sugarloaf Crusader Great Helm. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, the cheapest night vision I have is the PNV 57As because that is literally fucking really like outdated stuff. They do amplify light a little bit, even though they're Gen 0. And I've used PNV 57Es before, and they were actually fairly good for Gen 1s. But and I have a couple of just like Gen 1 tubes. That GM 37 mask. Which one's that? Hang on. Do I even have a GM 37? Do you mean the VM 37? And that's in the other room, and it's got asbestos inside it. So no, I'm not putting that on. But yeah, the Yeah, although on the 57A, I've got an IR flashlight like mounted to the top of the tanker's helmet, so it will actually just throw out a beam and you can see with it. But yeah, so I've got a couple of Soviet tubes, like somewhere. Technically, I think the cheapest I ever bought a night vision unit for was a Soviet. What's the name of it? Like Cyclops or something. It's just a Soviet Gen 1 thing where people used to buy them for the camera lenses with them and then resell them. So obviously the person that bought it must have been somebody who bought it for the camera lens. They resold it. So I bought the night vision for about 30 quid and then stuck a new camera lens on it so it's usable. But yeah, like people have said, if you want cheap night vision, cheap digital is better than cheap analogs. And then good analogs are much better than cheap digitals, and then obviously top of the line stuff is either the best analogs or like very good digital stuff, like those Chinese what's it, the ADNV G14P2, I think it's the name of it. But yeah, regardless, because of the condition that mask's in, I'm not going to be wearing it because it's in pretty damn good condition. So I don't want to. And again, it's not in this room. But the problem is, like I said, if I get that mask out, I'd be stretching it and everything, and it's an old World War II thing in good condition, so that stays in its box. And other than when I'm doing videos on it or showing people it, that's not what I fuck about with, because that's the problem when you get stuff like that in good condition. It's the reason I haven't bought World War One masks. Yeah, that, like saying, the one I was on about was a Russian handheld Gen 1, the Cyclops. Which one's the MF11, the Chinese one? Hang on. The Chinese MF11 is absolutely fine. I mean, I've got two of them. One's better than another because one was like an older, higher quality one. The other one is like not as good. But it's an all right mask. Like the FMJ08 is better because it's an S10 ripoff. The FMJ09 is better still. I'd actually say some of the Chinese panoramic gas masks are better. I'd say actually as well the Chinese MF14 is better. Let me just see if that's still in this room, the MF14. And I'll see if it works with this helmet as well. Because the MF14 is still one you can get fairly cheap. And the MF14 is one that they actually... Well, there's a Chinese TF1, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. But I suppose I can put a TF1 on. Can I get this on with this strap? Probably not. Yeah, just about. But you won't be able to hear me with a TF1 on, so that's the problem of doing this. But yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, like I said, the Chinese masks are pretty all right. At least the military style ones, and they're better civilian industry one. But the MF14, I don't think I've got it handy. And yeah, but yeah, typical. If I'm not streaming, nobody PMs me. As soon as I start bloody streaming, people always PM me. But yeah, yeah, the MF14 though is fairly good. Like I say, and the MF14 is a Chinese panoramic one. I'm sure I still have my MF14 piled in that fucking pile behind me somewhere. So hang on, let's have a look. I'm sure it is here somewhere. That's the Italian M90. US M40, Canadian C4, GP7. There's the Chinese FMJ08. Again, not the one I'm looking for. No, the MF14 I've probably put somewhere else now. But again, Chinese S10 ripoff. Where are you looking? That's an MM1 if you're looking at the one on the mannequin with a pith helmet on top. Yeah, Chinese S10 ripoff isn't too bad. like I said in the video I did of this, it's very, very close to an actual S10. The main difference just being how the voice diaphragm bit works, because this actually has these Chinese, same one as the FMJ05. GP7, sure, fine. Like I said, I've actually made the GP7 not horrifically uncomfortable now. There it is. And I'll have to put this on top-wise and then pull it down. Because it... bit of a tighter fit with this one, but yeah, where I cut the rubber inside, this definitely is more comfortable now. Yeah, this is very Metro, isn't it, like this one? Right, on 90, I've got one behind me, so hang on. I'm not a massive fan of the OM90, but as I have one handy somewhere. There's the fucker. Right, OM90. So, not a huge fan of it. It's the worst of the S10 style masks. I've done a video talking about it more properly if you want to see that. But basically, it's fine. It would work. It would protect you. But because most people pay the silly Myra prices for these rather than what they should cost, because, you know, apparently if you buy them from the Czech Republic or whatever, you know, they should be like 30 euros, 40 euros, you know, $50 sort of at most. You know, this is one of those masks that is fine if you're paying that, but it's certainly not worth the prices Myra rebrand them and sell them at. Cadpat, we were on about that the other day. The cool Canadian camo that you can't get because they destroy it, sadly. The FMJ08 is certainly better than the OM90 because the FMJ08 is literally like an S10 but a bit more modern, but not as good as an FM12 because the FM12 actually has an improved face piece, whereas the FMJ08 is like an S10 with slightly more rubber, you know, more modern rubber and plastic on it. So yeah, that's the OM90. Main problem with this, unlike the S10, that's solid plastic, so it gets in your field of view. Whereas the S10, as you might know, has like clear plastic there, so you can actually see better. Voice diaphragm isn't awful. I get most of the money, Kevin, yeah. I mean, they always take some because that's how all those things work. But yeah, if you buy any of the merch that's advertised through it's Teespring, isn't it? That literally means that I don't have to do anything. You pick what you want, you buy it, and I get it's a different percentage of the profits for different things. But yeah, if you do buy anything, thank you, because I do get a bit of the money. And I send, when I get stuff for that, I always send the guy who did the artwork for my stuff. Like some of my, you know, if it's the ones that was done by my mate who did some drawings for some of them, then I send them some of the money. But if it's the ones where it's just a picture I've taken, then obviously I keep everything. What do you mean? Sorry, I don't quite get that, Jim. Could you make a tutorial to like use respirator filters for 40mm NATO? Well, 40mm NATO is a type of filter, so what do you mean use the filter? They literally screw on. Favorite Soviet gas mask is the SHMS, the Shums. Like the one Kevin is bringing up. It's, although I also really like the IP4M rebreather, but I wish they did that with a filter style connection, because the IP4M for a Soviet mask has an oral nasal cup and has a voice diaphragm. So it's actually pretty damn good for a Soviet mask, but sadly it was only ever done as a rebreather, not as a standard 40mm mask. I might cut this stream a bit shorter just because my asthma's playing up a little bit. Nothing to do with any of those gas masks. I think I've got a load of dust down me earlier today. as I've been saying about the M40 every recent time I've been asked about it, it's all right. The problem is it has the second skin system where it has like a mask for a mask rather than it just being a one-piece mask. The straps on the M40 are pretty antiquated as well. Like if you compare the M40 to the M50, you'll immediately notice how much better the M50 straps are. The M40 is very much like World War II era sort of straps. It's like, just a buckle and a bit of elastic kind of thing. The straps aren't awful, but they're not good. So yeah, the M40 isn't bad, especially if you're in the US and you can get them at a good price. But there's nothing amazing about them either. It was very good for when it came out, but there's much better choices of masks now. The PBF is the one you're thinking of. Yes, I love olive burritos. The Soviet PBF. Yeah, the PBF I do kind of like, even though I don't really like cheek filter masks. But yeah, I mean, the GSR is never comfortable on my face, so I'm not going to say the GSR. M50 was all right when I had it, but I had the older gen of M50 where the valves didn't seal properly. So if I removed the filter, then it didn't self-seal itself like it was meant to. I wouldn't be able to make a filter thread at home because you'd need machining tools, wouldn't you, for that? If that's what you're asking, because you'd need like some sort of injection molding process to do it out of plastic. I don't sell gas masks, no. I mean, other than when I now and again just get rid of stuff and then I sell it to people, I don't have like any sort of business of buying and selling the things, no. So if I recommend something, it's because I like it, not because somebody's paying me to say this particular mask is good or bad or whatever. Oh, great. You've got 42 asbestos filters that, why would you want to breathe through them? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to be off in a minute because, like I said, annoyingly, my chest's a bit tight at the moment. So I am going to have to use an inhaler, and I don't know if I've even got one handy in this room. I might have to go get one from the other room. So yeah, I haven't had to use my inhaler in quite a while, but for whatever reason today, I think I was around some dusty sort of stuff earlier, and it's made my chest a bit tight now I'm talking. I can't personally tell you if you're having connection issues because at my end it seems fine, but but I'm not streaming as I normally stream because today I'm streaming from the Osmo Pocket 3 as opposed to my phone, so that could again make a difference because this is higher video quality, but because yeah, at the moment my phone is still gluing with the super glue I put on it, which again is getting tackier, but it's still taking longer than I was hoping for the super glue to super glue on my little like anti-theft lanyard thing I'm gluing onto the back of my phone, because my phone is one of the weird ones where it's built into its own case, which is great for dropping it and protection, but it means that I can't put one of these lanyard things inside a phone case like most people do with them. I have to physically glue it to the back of the phone. So there's that. But yeah. I should be on tomorrow for a stream and Sunday at various points. Again, I'm going to try and do more in the evening for people in like American time zones, but some days I only get a chance to stream at a certain time of day. But yeah, so I'll try and be on tomorrow, probably later in the evening than I did today. And like I said, I'll make sure tomorrow I've got an inhaler with me, so if something sets me off, it's fine. It could have been also one of the masks I put on could have had a load of dust on the inside of it if it had been sitting around for ages, and then it's just gotten down me. And I might actually... Oh, is that the swamp camo, the West German one? The one, Kevin, that is kind of like... I'm pretty sure I've got a coat in it, like a Miltech reproduction one. It's the one that's a bit like Splinter Tarn, but is like West Germany slightly into the Cold War as opposed to World War II Germany. But yes, anyway, I will be off. tomorrow I'll bring an inhaler into this room. I really should just keep an inhaler in this room anyway, but I probably ended up picking up the inhaler that was in here, putting it in my pocket, and then putting it on a shelf in a different room. So anyway, have a good day. I will see everybody tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, at the moment there's a video planned every day for like the next week and a half. Although, like I said, when I next film a longer video, I'm going to probably jig the videos around a bit, so the there's a break in the shorts of one longer video. Yeah, have a good day, everybody. I will see you all later on tomorrow or whatever. So, and I think I have to end this by clicking end on here, don't I? Because I'm actually streaming from the PC today, not my phone. So yeah, see you all. Have a good day. Goodbye.